Hey, Facebook Nation, Tracy here, and I am live with the amazing Skip Wiley. Skip, say hello to the people.
Hello, world. South Florida is rocking and rolling.
It's a great place to be, right?
It's the only place to be if you want to have a great lifestyle and make a lot of money in real estate.
Amen to that. Amen. So, Skip was my real estate agent in beautiful Hollywood, Florida. Skip and I have been friends for a really long time, and we're both very busy building our eXp real estate business. So, we were just talking about some common things that we're hearing out there and some common questions, and just kind of thought we would share what we've been experiencing. So, Skip, what questions are you hearing the most when you're talking to rockstar real estate agents about EXP?
Well, Tracy, one of the most important questions
Uh-huh.
is why would a rock star realtor that formerly owned the Century 21 franchise, the fourth largest in the country,
Mm.
was a top producing luxury agent
Mm-hmm.
working for Keller Williams,
Uh-huh.
top recruiter in that company, ever make the crazy decision to join a startup company called eXp?
Well, Skip, that's a great question. I get asked that a lot. I was introduced to EXP when there were less than 1,000 agents globally, and at the time, I've been top luxury listing agent in my Keller Williams office and been around the block a long time, been in the industry almost 20 years. And I just kind of had things rocking and rolling. I was making good money. I was working, no more than 50 or 60 hours a week, which was much better than when I owned my Century 21 franchise when I was working every hour of the week. And it just kind of settled into a little groove. Get the listing, sell the listing, spend the money, get the listing, sell the listing, spend the money. And what I found is that the more money that I made, the bigger the hamster wheel got, the more money I was spending, but it wasn't necessarily ending up in my bank account at the end of the year. Can anybody else relate to that?
Mm.
When I was introduced to EXP, I really wasn't in search mode at all. I was relatively happy where I was. I kind of had a well-oiled machine. But the truth of the matter is, when I took a look at the economic model, I cried because I knew that regardless of how happy I was and how I felt like I had finally gotten things under control, I was pretty good at basic math. And when I looked at the math with the XP Realty, there was just no way that I could stay where I was. I knew that it would be financially irresponsible to stay where I was. And I understood that with the XP, that my opportunities were bigger. I knew I could make more money in my traditional real estate business. I could certainly keep more money in my pocket. I shaved about $20,000 in overhead by joining eXp Realty. My commission split was less than it was where I was, and I didn't have to pay a franchise fee. And I was going to get stock. And at the time, it was a penny stock, right? It was 64 cents a share. But I felt like, hey, listen, it was better than the stock that I was getting at Keller Williams, which was none, and better than the stock that I had gotten at Century 21, even though we were a publicly traded company. The company never gave me any stock for having the number one team in the nation. This company never gave me any stock for having the number four office for Century 21. So I thought, well, it was an ego risk. I didn't have anything to lose financially. I knew financially I would do better. And I also knew that nobody was listing with me or doing business with me because of my company. They were doing business with me because of me. And so I went and checked out the company, met the amazing Doug and Chuck that had just come on board with the XP out of the Beverly Hills area. And I said to Doug, I said, aren't you afraid that people won't do business with you if you're not with a national brand that everybody's heard of? And he looked at me and he said, no, not at all. People do business with me. And he said, and people do business with you. Look at you. I want to do business with you. You're beautiful inside and out. And it was like the right word at the right time. And I felt like, well, if Chuck and Doug could make this move, as huge and famous as they were, then I knew that I could as well. And thank goodness that I did. I tell people all the time, that there's two reasons that agents come to eXp. For struggling agents or agents that aren't making as much money as they want, they come because they haven't had the opportunity that they've been dreaming of. They didn't get enough lead generation. They didn't get enough training. They didn't get enough support. So your typical real estate agent will come to eXp so they can do more money in their traditional real estate business. But for successful real estate agents, Skip, like me and you, successful real estate agents that have built a good business, successful real estate agents that are already making good money, they come to eXp because they can do math. And when you just run the numbers, there's no other place to go. Don't you agree?
I agree with that 100%.
So
Traci, how's it worked out for you?
pretty good. I for the past 2.5, 3 years, I've lived a life of total and complete time and money freedom. You know, I always had money freedom when I had my Century 21 franchise and when I was a successful real estate agent, but I didn't have the time freedom. And so, you know, I'm making well over $1 million a year in residual income, and I work less than 10 hours a week. So for me, eXp has been a huge game changer, and it's all because of the synergy that we have. It's because of rock star real estate agents that are a part of our organization, people like Pat Hayes and people like Tom Trong and people like Skip Wiley and so many others that have just come on board. You know, Bob Mangold, you know, Connor, there's so many real estate agents. Of course, now Mike Sherrard. I mean, there's so many real estate agents that have come in with such life and energy and passion. So it's no longer about me. It's about the wonderful teammates that I have in eXp, and I'm eternally grateful. I'm eternally grateful for every single one of them because it's given me the lifestyle that I have.
Next up, important question. Traci, I've heard that all eXp agents do is recruit people and nobody's selling anything. What's your comment on that?
Well, I actually have a slide on that the company gives us. So that's called Production Matters at eXp. I mean, you know, we're the largest independent real estate company in the United States. We've got, you know, accolade after accolade and top movers in many different fields. And the reason is because if there's no revenue, there's no revenue share. So at eXp, every single real estate agent has a vested interest in helping the other real estate agents at eXp sell more homes. It's really that simple. And we have the best lead generation system in the industry, in my humble opinion, especially if you want to leverage technology. If you want to make cold calls, there's not a lot of classes at eXp on how to make cold calls, but there's a whole lot of classes on how to leverage technology and leverage social media and leverage your center of influence, and how to build a network of people that are sending you business. So, you know, the truth of the matter is, from what I've heard, you know, not a lot of agents within eXp actually actively participate in the revenue share, which I think is crazy, but they don't. Most real estate agents join eXp because they just want to sell more houses and they want to be part of something new and exciting and growing and cutting edge, and that's tech driven. So we attract a different kind of agent. We attract a much more entrepreneurial agent than your typical real estate company, I think, often does. And we all really desperately want each other to sell houses. You know, are we a recruiting company? Well, every company that's successful is a recruiting company. You know, the reason that McDonald's is successful is because they understand how to recruit people. I understand like 1 out of every 20 Americans has worked at a McDonald's, right? The reason that Google is successful is because they are successful at recruiting the absolute best and brightest engineers, sales teams, managers, leaders, all kinds of positions. The reason that every company is successful is based exclusively on the caliber of people that want to be aligned with that company. So, yeah, are we a recruiting company? Yeah, just like every other company in the world. But it's not the main reason that most people do come and join eXp Realty. I think every agent should build a lucrative revenue share business. I think it's financially responsible to not make sure that you have something that's a willable and a transferable asset whenever you cross over. I think it's really important that you have residual income. And I mean, what does the Shark Tank guy say, Mr. Wonderful, that the only good money is residual money or something to that effect? I mean, as real estate agents, for the most part, we're only as good as our last deal. But with eXp Realty, I'm very blessed to be able to leverage and earn income off of over 5,500 or 5,300 real estate agents within my revenue share organization. So it's no longer about me. And it also gives me a vested interest in helping every single solitary one of those real estate agents grow and prosper, because if they grow and prosper, so do I. It's the most pure business model in the entire world, and it rewards real estate agents for increasing their leadership skills. It rewards real estate agents for learning new ways to sell homes and learning new ways to connect with people, because the more that our agents learn, the more that they can teach others. And it's just a beautiful model. I love it. I'm very blessed to be a part of this life-changing company, and appreciate Glenn Sanford more than words can say, and for his brilliant mind to come up with something so perfect for real estate agents.
Well, next up, Traci, this is a tough question. I know you work at KW.
Great company.
I know you now work at eXp. KW has profit sharing. eXp has revenue sharing. I hear all the time they're the same. Could you explain the difference?
Well, I'll do my best on that. I can tell you from personal experience, I know the difference between profit and revenue. And of course, Monday is income tax day. So anybody that has figured their income taxes knows the difference between how much money you made and brought in on your paycheck and how much money you actually got to keep. Because we all have businesses that we have to run, and successful real estate businesses, successful real estate agents are spending money on their business. And when I owned my Century 21 franchise, I had a vested interest in spending money strategically, but whenever I spent money on my business, I paid less in taxes, and that's a win. It's a wonderful thing that our government has set up for us. It encourages us to build our businesses. But revenue is the way that Gary Keller is paid, right? He gets a franchise fee, and he gets the first 6% that an agent makes. It's taken off the very top. That's revenue. Profit is what's left after all the bills have been paid. So as somebody that owned the fourth largest Century 21 office in the United States, my overhead every single month, but toward the end, was $75,000 a month before I made a single penny, right? I ran 5 offices. This was the mid 2000s, back whenever things were really rocking and rolling in our real estate business, kind of like they are now. And so I spent a lot of money. I spent $75,000 a month before I took a single penny. Well, that money was able to come off of my taxes. So when I was with Keller Williams, I was Recruiter of the Year globally. Do I have that trophy here? No, I have my Century 21 trophies in here. I was Recruiter of the Year globally, and I was really, really proud of that. I got my picture and all that kind of stuff, and with Mark Willis, and it was a great experience. But I personally brought in, I think the number was like 54 agents into the company my first year. 3 years later, that had morphed into, I think, 58 agents, right? Not a lot of growth. Where with eXp, I've personally brought in my 5.5 years in the company, about like 103, 104 agents. And again, I'm paid on over 5,000 agents. So it's grown geometrically. And the reason is because we are actually paid the same way that people that own franchises are paid, off the top. And so the numbers are really big. I think with Keller Williams, I don't think there was ever a month I made more than like $2,000 or $3,000. A lot of months it was less than $100. And with the eXp, again, I'm making significantly more than that. It's just a better model, and we're able to do that because of Glenn Sanford's brilliance, the way that he's put together this magnificent real estate company that doesn't need bricks and mortar. And so because we've cut out so much of the overhead and cut out a lot of the middleman, Glenn Sanford feels like it's really important to compensate agents and pay them what they're worth. And Glenn believes that the only value that a real estate company has is the real estate agents that are a part of it. So he has set up systems in place to make sure that our model appeals to the very best and the very brightest in the industry. And he rewards those agents very handsomely for being a part of this life-changing company.
Next up, I have a question. I know over 1,000 people a week are now joining the eXp.
Right around there, yeah.
But I often hear when I speak to people about eXp, I love my broker. I'm happy where I am, sort of content. So what do you tell people?
I was happy where I was as well. I was at the Keller Williams office in San Antonio. My broker, it was a Keller Williams Legacy. My broker was a gentleman named Steven, and he was world class. He loved real estate agents. He was committed to real estate agents. He was a wonderful trainer. He provided a magnificent work environment, beautiful, beautiful office. He was as supportive as a broker could possibly be. I have so much incredible, tremendous respect for that man. I was very, 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 very happy where I was as well. However, I also knew how to do math. And at the end of the day, it was about me being financially free. I was willing to take uncomfortable action in order to change my financial future forever. And I knew that, I'd been in the industry for almost 20 years at the time, and I'd made millions and millions and millions of dollars, but I didn't have millions and millions and millions of dollars in my bank account. I was living a really good life. I had a beautiful car and had a beautiful place where I lived. Took spectacular vacations, ate at the very best restaurants, ordered very nice bottles of wine, had gorgeous clothes, and a beautiful life. But I had to work for it. I had to get up every morning, and it was all about me. And if I was sick, the money stopped. And I remember when I was in high school, my dad had his first stroke, and then he had his second stroke while I was at Baylor. And my house faced a laundromat. I was raised, very poor. And when my dad went in the hospital, and my mom had to take care of him, I was working a job. I think at the time I was making like $3.75 an hour, and all of a sudden, I was having to pick up a lot of the family's dinners, at the hospital, cafeteria, because when my dad couldn't work and my mom had to take care of him, the money stopped. And I remember that pain like it was yesterday, and I knew that I never wanted to experience that pain ever again. And so I chose a career where I could make a lot of money, and I'm very grateful for that. But it was always still about me after all those years. And even though, I for years had the number one real estate team in the city of San Antonio, the number one Century 21 team in the nation back in the day, even though I was running the team and I was getting some income off of those agents on my team, it was still all about me. And with the XP, it's no longer about me. So thank you, eXp.
Next up, I have a serious question about the future of real estate. I read Inman a lot, and Inman says that our industry is changing dramatically, and there are 4 or 5 companies that are perfectly positioned for the future of real estate. eXp being one of those.
Yeah.
What's your comments about the future of real estate?
Well, when I got into real estate, I had one of the first Century 21 websites in my city, right? I mean, Al Gore had invented the internet. I had an AOL account. So for those of you that are old enough to remember that, I got into real estate in the late 90s. So the internet was just starting to take force. And when I started to make money, I planned a vacation, and I went to the travel agency that was next door to the Mexican restaurant that I had lunch at, right? And I booked my cruise through the travel agency. Well, when's the last time you saw a travel agency office, right? So my whole career, there was always this concern, are real estate agents going to go the way of the travel agent? And we've been very blessed that, of course, real estate is a complicated transaction with big numbers, and most people need guidance through that process. Super Dave just bought 2 beautiful condos in the past few months here in beautiful Palm Coast, Florida. And even though he is a real estate agent and has been since the 80s, he hired a local real estate agent to help him through the transaction. So even as professional real estate agents, if we're working in marketplaces that we don't know the lay of the land, we hire professional real estate agents. So, we're very blessed to be in an industry where people still need guidance. However, the way that our clients are coming to us is very different. When I first started in real estate, the clients would come come to the office and we would book the conference room in advance for our clients to come in, and we'd bring coffee and donuts, and we would sit there with our big computer in the conference room, and they would look at the small screen and we would look at homes to decide which ones to go look at. When I first started in real estate, they had just gotten rid of the MLS books. Remember the MLS books, Skip? Yeah, for the rookie real estate agents, every 2 weeks they would print a book, and every real estate agent in San Antonio would get a copy of the book, and it would be by, by zip code or by area, and you would go and look at paper copies of MLS listings. So if you missed it for the 2-week cutoff, your home wasn't even active for all intents and purposes for 2 weeks. And when I started, there was only one picture on the MLS. That's all you could look at, was the picture of the front of the house. And so, our industry has changed so much. Now clients come to us, and quite often they've already found the house that they want to buy. They just want an agent to show it to them. They may have narrowed it down to 2 or 3 homes, but they come to us and they've already done so much research. So the job of the real estate agent is different than it used to be. And where is this all going to go? I don't know. There's a lot of speculations. People that are a lot smarter than me are trying to figure that out. But I do remember when Uber came out, trying to figure out how to Uber real estate. And I actually have my notes on, how do I Uber real estate? And then the brilliant man, Glenn Sanford, figured it out way back in, when it was the eXp founded, 2009. So 2010. So kudos to him, and I'm very grateful to be able to work with somebody that's an absolute tech genius that always has his eye on where the real estate industry is headed, and then we can just follow his brilliant lead.
Well, I have one final question, and that question is, I'm a happy agent. I work at a national brand. I'm doing well today, but I'm curious about eXp. Don't know that I want to join eXp. How do I find out more information?
Well, that's a great question. When I was interested in eXp, back when there were less than 1,000 agents, I Googled eXp Realty, and I'm sure that that's what everybody else on earth does as well. We're very blessed now that there are gazillions and gazillions of YouTube videos, and I've got my own website, explodeyourcareer.com, and many of our agents do have their own websites, and I encourage people to really do their due diligence. But the best way to really learn about eXp is to have a conversation with the person that introduced you to the idea of eXp, and learn more about it organically. Have some serious questions with successful real estate agents. Have conversations with agents that have just joined eXp. What's your experience been like? I mean, the more research that you do, the more you'll find that ultimately it's just the very best deal. In my humble opinion, the reason eXp is so successful is it's just a better deal for us real estate agents. It gives us more time freedom, more money freedom. It helps us build a spectacularly strong real estate business. As real estate agents can get stock in the company for doing things that we're going to do anyway, and for real estate agents that are interested, it can provide a lifelong residual income as well. So, like I said, eXp is setting a lot of real estate agents free. The other really cool thing about eXp that I think we don't talk about very much is, I think eXp is a personal development company cleverly disguised as a real estate company. There's so much wonderful personal development that goes on within eXp. There's so many ways to grow and build, yourself. Jim Rohn says that you've got to work harder on yourself than you do on your business, and if you do that, you'll be financially free. And so that's another thing I always encourage everybody to do, really dive into the wonderful personal development stuff that eXp brings to the table. There's great live training classes. There's tons of classes for free in our eXp world. And even if you're not with eXp, any eXp agent can get you a guest pass for you to go in and take some classes for free. And I encourage agents to really focus on those personal development classes as well. It's a wonderful way to build your business by building yourself.
Traci, it's been really great talking to you today. I've learned a lot.
Thanks, Skip.
I did have one other question. It's a question that comes about, eXp doesn't have any offices. How am I going to operate without an office?
Well, the same way Jeff Bezos operates a bookstore without a bookstore. you know, we used to get that objection a lot, Skip, right? But we really don't really get that anymore because the government made it illegal for people to go to their real estate offices in a lot of parts of the United States. I mean, literally, the government forced real estate offices to shut down. And just like Jeff Bezos made a whole lot of money and did really well, eXp grew exponentially during that period because people that were accustomed to going to an office and having those services, having those live training classes, having a copy machine, having free coffee, that was taken away from them. And so eXp, was built for this. We were built for everything that's going on right now, and we're blessed beyond measure. And agents have seen that it really is not about going to the office. The great thing about our company is that we do have an office. We're not virtual. We do have an office. You just you're just able to access it anywhere that you've got an internet connection. So your office is now the same place that your music store and your bookstore is. It's in the palm of your hand. And it just goes back to everything we've been talking about, Skip. eXp sets agents free in so many ways, including the freedom to not have to go to the office to get over 50 hours of live training classes every single solitary week, the ability to run your business and to get paid and to not have to take documents to the office. It really frees up agents in so many beautiful ways, and we're so blessed to be part of this groundbreaking and life-changing company. Don't you agree?
Yeah, Traci, I agree totally. And I also like the fact that if I happen to want to get away from my home for an hour or so, that I have a free ability to go to any Regis and Space Center around the world. And there are about 3,000 offices that I can use for free, simply being associated with eXp.
Right. And the thing about Regis Office Suites that I think a lot of agents don't really tap into is that if you go to your typical real estate company, like when I went to my Century 21 office, what was the statistical probability that any agent in that office was going to hire me to sell their home? Well, zero.
None.
Yeah, exactly. But I have a friend that works out of a Regis office center in the Seattle area, and he talks about all the great business that he gets because he's at a Regis office and he has his little real estate sign. So if somebody is getting married, or their cousins move into the town, or they have a friend that's looking to relocate, he gets all that business because proximity is power. So instead of having proximity to other real estate agents, you have proximity to a radically different group of people. This past a year and a half ago, Super Dave and I joined Tony Robbins Platinum Partners. And so, where before most of my free time was spent with other real estate agents, I would go to real estate training classes and I would go to real estate events. I started mixing with an entirely different group of people. And it's done wonders for my real estate business because suddenly I'm mixing and mingling with people that are not in my industry but that still have real estate needs. And I'm learning from a different group of people, and I'm having different kinds of conversations. So I tell people all the time, if you're bored, instead of going to Starbucks, go to Regis. Go drink their coffee. It's free, first of all. And you just never know who you might meet. Put yourself in a position for fate to step in.
I know some of the companies, when they move to a new location, they rent Regis temporarily. So you can corporate executives from all over the world.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
It's a beautiful business model, 100%, and we're blessed to be a part of it.
Traci, thank you for being with me.
It's such a pleasure, Skip. I'm so honored and blessed to have you not only as a brilliant business partner, but as a wonderful friend. And you really do personify just the agent that is a go-giver. You just come from such a place of love and service. And, your clients are blessed to work with you. Your family's blessed to have with you. And we are all very blessed to be your teammate at eXp Realty. And I'm grateful for you in every way that I possibly could be. Thank you so much.
And me for you.
Thanks, sweetie.
Have a great day.
You too. eXp sets realtors free. Bye-bye.
Bye.